Now we need to take in the other option. What if the black fur parent is heterozygous? Because that's also an option. So we do cross number 2. We start to lay out the gametes. Parent number 1, gamete A is B, lowercase b, and gamete B is also lowercase b. So parent number 1 has brown on both alleles. However, here parent number 2 has 2 options. So when this cell undergoes meiosis of parent number 2 and it splits into 2 haploids, one is going to carry the capital B, black allele, and the other is going to carry the brown allele because this parent is heterozygous. So for parent number 2, allele A is black and allele B is brown. This is where it gets interesting because here we are going to have variation. So let's start crossing. Parent 1, allele A, is brown. If it combines with allele A from parent number 2, that's black. So we have a heterozygous, capital B, lowercase b. This is the first option. Now we cross gamete A of parent number 1 with gamete B of parent number 2. Here we have, for the first time, a homozygous for the brown allele. We have lowercase b. Now we go to allele B of parent number 1, also brown. We cross it with allele A of parent number 2, which is black. We get heterozygous, capital B, lowercase b. And then we do the final option, which is if gamete B of parent number 1 crosses with gamete B of parent number 2, we get a homozygous for brown, lowercase b. So, what do we have in the offspring? Half of them are heterozygous, and half of them are homozygous for brown. What are the phenotypes? Well, the heterozygous ones are all black, so 50% heterozygous is 50% black fur, and the other half, which is homozygous brown, is 50% brown fur. So, in the first option, where we assumed that the black fur parent is homozygous black, we had all of the offspring being heterozygotes and having black fur. While if we assume that the black fur parent is a heterozygote, we had half of the offspring being heterozygotes and having black fur, while the other half being homozygotes for brown and having brown fur. So this is why we can never assume the genotype from the phenotype, because see the different results that we got. In the case where we assumed that the black phenotype is homozygote, and in the case where we assumed that the black phenotype is heterozygote. So this should send us a message that it is dangerous to assume the genotype from the phenotype. We are not allowed to assume that. We should always take into consideration all the cases. And we also learned how to do genetic crosses.